Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are live on our Abbott World Marathon Majors Facebook page. Welcome to everybody who is joining us, who is getting ready for heading to Tokyo. If you're not already in Tokyo now, you are definitely heading there in the next couple of days or within the next week. I'm delighted to be joined by Noel Thatcher today for our session again, who joined us in the first one. Noel is very experienced about all things Japan and Tokyo, former athlete himself, very proud British Paralympian. Will be coming to Noel in the second half of today's session to talk about Tokyo and the wonderful city it is and all the things that you can look forward to. But we do know that in the first instance, many of you have some questions, some anxieties, some concerns. And we're here to do our very best to make sure that you go to Tokyo in the best possible way that you can, making sure you're fully prepared and that we can help give you the information that you need to have the best trip and time out there. So last time we did start with some technical issues and some audio difficulties. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us. If you want to let us know in the chat, please do feel free to add your questions and comments, and we will see those as we go through today's session and make sure that we can answer as many of those as possible. All right, so let's kick off. We have some questions already submitted over the last couple of days. Thank you for those. I'm going to get straight to those because I know some of you are dying to find out some of the key topics. Great, and I'm pleased to say that people are saying they can hear us. Thank you, Gail, Joe, Nellie. Delighted to have you all here. So let's start. Our first question came in on Instagram from Jane Shimko. What about pacers? Will they be every 5 minutes? They won't be every 5 minutes, Jane, but they have pace setters for general runners, and those pace setters will be covering runners aiming for 3 hours, 3 hours 30, 4 hours, 4 hours 30, 5 hours, and 5 hours 30. So a good selection of pace groups there that you can look out for and join on next Sunday, 5th of March. Denise has asked how runners' families can access the expo. Well, Denise, the expo is free to everybody. You no longer have to do a booking for that, which they had in place during COVID times. Your family can go with you. It's free to enter. The Tokyo Marathon Expo is at Big Site, back at the original venue, which is different for those of you that you were there in 2019. So take your family, make it a day out. It's a great trip. It's an easy train ride from the city centre. Noel's nodding in agreement. He's been out there too. Yeah. It was used as the main press centre during the Tokyo Olympics. It's a fantastic venue. So do take your friends and family out there and enjoy some shopping and seeing all of us. And I'll come back to our majors booths in a little while on that. What is the official pace to maintain? Annie, I think you're referring to the cutoffs. There are cutoffs throughout the race. I know that's something that's important for everybody. If you can take a look at the handbook, it does guide you to their website where they do have the cutoffs listed. I'm not going to read through all of them, but there are cutoffs throughout the race. And I think somebody may also have shared those in our Facebook group previously. Let's keep going with some of the questions. Thomas Eller, our Deaf World runner Tom, and also iCoxie Marathon Runs wrote asking about our clothing policy, or the Tokyo Marathon clothing policy. Now, it does say in the handbook that they strongly discourage you from dropping clothes at the start. And actually, because of the amount of feedback and comments we got from you, and after our first session, the Tokyo Marathon is actually going to be emailing you all in the next couple of days. They have changed their policy. They've listened to you. They are actually going to be adding a number of clothing bins at the start line, for you to leave any unwanted clothes. So they do ask if you can carry them or you can bring minimal amounts. But if it's going to be cold or it's going to be miserable and you know that you need layers to keep you warm before you start, there will be clothing bins at the start. So you can look out for those. They're going to be marked in English and Japanese. So I hope that allays some of your concerns and anxiety about that. Make sure that you are warm and ready to go. So that was from Claudia, iCoxie, and from Thomas. The other big thing on people's minds right now is hydration. So let's clear up a few facts on hydration. Initially, reading from the handbook and interpreting that, we thought that hydration packs were permitted. For those that joined myself and Ron Romano last week on the session we did, we also thought that was the case. Ron provided an update on Monday from myself, having spoken to Tokyo Marathon. I want to cover that today so that everybody is absolutely clear. So we had questions on that from, oh, I love this, Thunder Thighs 74, fantastic name, concerned about bringing her hydration. Jay Haynes 907 also asking. Cassandra Oldham also asking about that. Let me get the official lines for you so you are very clear on what you can and cannot bring. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so Tokyo Marathon does not allow anyone to bring in water bottles, canteens, hydro packs, which is bladders in your camel packs and similar. Whether it is empty or not, you are not allowed to bring them in. Hydration vests, not permitted. Handheld collapsible bottles, not permitted. They will be disposed of. A running belt with bottles on it. I know lots of you are used to doing that in other races. They will not be permitted. So don't chance it. Don't think that you're going to get past somebody at the start. That will cause you more anxiety and concerns. These are not permitted. There will be water cups at the start so you can get hydration before you start. There will not be Pocari Sweat at the start area, but there will be Pocari Sweat and water throughout the course. There are 15 hydration stations throughout the course. I know that was a question as well. So not quite every mile, but they're certainly more frequent than every 2 miles. Is there any sort of bottle or container that a runner can bring in with liquid? No, the only thing you can bring in is an unopened carton or aluminium pouch of liquid. Now, that may sound strange to those coming from other countries. Those 2 items are very common at all convenience stores in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So if you do want to bring in a pouch, they have water, but they also have Pocari Sweat like that. They have a great, they have another kind of hydration one, like an electrolyte one that I've used before. So you can bring in a carton or an aluminium pouch of liquid, maximum 500 milliliters, which is 2 lots of 250 mils. You can bring those in to the start. No hydration belts, no hydration backpacks, no running vests. Nothing that you bring from home will be permitted in other than those unopened containers. Okay, so it's different. It's not what you planned for, but we have over a week now for you to go through that in your mind and work out how you will adapt and adjust. And I know that all of you are fantastic at doing that and overcoming challenges. So we know that this is one that you can manage, but very clear, nothing of that nature will be permitted through. You will be checked before you go into your start corral. When you go to the start of the race, you're going to have to show your phone with your health management app. You're going to have your temperature taken. They're going to check that you've not got anything on your person that is not permitted. And then you're going to go into your start corral. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but the basic rule of thumb is do not bring it to the start unless it is a purchased carton or aluminium pouch of liquid. Bring your phone. You must have that to show the health management app to get in. So make sure you don't forget your phone. Okay, so I think I've covered the hydration. If not, you can keep asking in the chat, but I think that's as clear as I can make it at this point in time. And I hope that covers a few of the concerns and issues there. So basically nothing other than pre-purchased. Yeah, so 15 aid stations along the course. Let's keep going with some of the questions. Daniel Santana asking about Wi-Fi at Shinjuku and if we need it. Well, your health management app, if you have it open, you shouldn't actually need Wi-Fi to show that. But having been in Tokyo many times, as Noel has, the Wi-Fi and the phone signal is pretty much better than anywhere else you'll get in the world, right, Noel?
Yeah, absolutely. There's never a problem anywhere.
So I wouldn't be concerned about that, Daniel. Simone is asking, will the health app be checked also at the entry of the corrals? No, that's going to be before you even get to that point, Simone. That is going to be to get you into the start area. So that's great. Yep, it will be checked at the start gates. So that hopefully that answers your questions. Kate Monaghan, you have a question here about gear and facilities. Can we wear tops with running clubs and our own names on them? The rule book says no organization not recognized by the marathon. No, as far as we know, as long as it's, something tasteful and you're celebrating your 6-star journey or you're promoting your charity or your run club, that's certainly not a problem. They're not going to stop you and make you change on race day. Toilets. I remember we had somebody in the last session, was it Jane Hansen from memory? Lots of questions about the toilets. And I know some people are concerned that not all toilets are directly on the course. That is correct. A little bit further into the marathon, some of the toilets are off to the side streets of the course. So you may have to go a little bit further than you would like. But the toilets near the start are right on the course. There's also toilets in the start corral. So make good use of those. And as you get further into the race, there are a couple of points that are off the course. I don't believe they're as far away as a kilometre off the course, Kate, but they're maybe not right on the side as you're used to in other events. So I hope that covers that question for you too. Okay, Michelle Craddock, salt tablets, caffeine tablets, and melatonin. Are we allowed to bring them into Japan? Yes, if that's something that you take in your toiletries. I mean, Noel, why don't you talk to that? You can bring those things in as long as it's for personal consumption, correct?
Yeah, I can't see a problem with that at all. So I worked quite closely with Paralympics GB before Tokyo, the deferred games, and it's only prescription medication above a certain quantity that there was an issue. So salt can't be an issue. Melatonin, if you just need it to help you get a couple of nights sleep, then in that quantity, I don't think there would be a problem at all.
Yeah. I'm with you. And I think I'm certainly packing some Unisom. Melatonin is great when you're worried about jet lag and you really want to get on the right time schedule. If it's something you're familiar with, obviously don't do anything new before race day, but it's very helpful. And it was Jane Hodgson. Jane, I hope we answered your toilet questions there. I got your last name wrong, but I remembered that you've been asking about that. And you're also asking now about gels and energy bars. Yes, anything that's unopened, you can take in terms of gels and energy bars into the start with you. They know that runners need those throughout the course. But it's just the liquid piece that we were trying to explain that you can't bring in your own liquid. Okay, I'm going to finish some of the questions that we had submitted earlier before we come on to any more in the chat now. Keep them coming though. Daniel Queck has a couple of questions. Daniel, if I'm not wrong, you are based in Singapore and you did our global marathon with us a couple of years ago. So I hope you're well. He is asking, is it necessary to have a second back bib for the 6-star runners? Well, now you come on to that. It is not compulsory. However, it's a brand new design. It looks really awesome. And what we find with people who wear that is if you're having a hard moment, or even if you're not, and you just want to celebrate that you're doing this amazing feat on the 5th of March in Tokyo, people will cheer you, people will celebrate you, people will make an extra effort to say, yay, go for your 6-star. So it's a really nice thing to do. If it doesn't work for you, that's absolutely fine. If you're wearing a backpack and it's too many things, but if you can find some way to wear it, you will definitely get some recognition and some extra motivation from your fellow runners. So it's optional. The only one that really counts is your front bib. So let's talk about that while we're on. This is a printout, so it's not exact, but this gives you an idea of what your bib will look like on from the Tokyo Marathon. As you can see here, you're going to have your bib number right in the middle. You're going to have your start corral on the side. Below that, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a little truck there. It's going to give you the number of truck for your baggage collection. And for those of you that registered with us early, this is your QR code, and it's got a tiny little 6-star symbol here. This is how we know when you cross the finish line that you are to come and get your 6-star medal. This barcode is your entry code. It actually matches your bib number. So this is what they'll likely scan when you come into the start area. And then this section here, which is pale blue, this will be a multitude of different colors. This color determines whether you go to the right or left at the finish area. So there's a whole range of blue shades. There's purple, there's green, there's all different colors. So expect this to look a little bit different, but the main layout of the bib will be exactly the same. And here is the QR code with your 6-star logo. Don't panic. If you do not see that on yours, it's either because you registered late with us or you're one of those amazing few that are going for round number 2, 3, or 4 of your 6-star journey. Kudos to you guys. I know Ron Romano is one of those, and he's been a huge supporter of sharing information. So I wanted to celebrate him and anybody else that is going for their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th edition. Absolutely incredible. What you guys need to do, if you don't see that QR code and little symbol on your bib, go to the Abbott World Marathon Majors booth. You're going to walk through it. As soon as you pick up your, for packet pickup, you're going to go into the expo. You're going to pick up your race bib and all your bits and pieces that they give you. The next thing you do, whether you want to or not, you're gonna go through the Abbott World Marathon Majors booth. You will see Judy and Stuart, our two awesome team members who are manning that booth across the 3 days at the expo. Go and talk to them and they will sort you out if you have any issues or you don't see that on your bib. So they have stickers for you. They can talk you through everything. If you don't have a back bib in your race pack, go and chat to them. They'll give you that. They'll also answer any additional questions. Not only do we have one booth at the Tokyo Marathon, though, we have two booths this year, which is the first time ever. We have an Abbott World Marathon Majors collection booth, which is on the first floor, so different level than you arrive. Come and see us there if you have ordered a Guinness World Record medal, if you've ordered our collectible coins, a Global Marathon medal, which starts on the same day as Tokyo Marathon. I will be there with my colleague Scott. I'd love to see you. We can help answer any questions as well. There'll be a couple of items that you can buy from us there, including a special 6-star lapel pin, which is an exclusive item that we're only going to have at Tokyo this year. So there's a few things there. So make sure you stop by, come and see us. We'll help out if we've got any additional questions than the ones you've had for Judy and Stuart. So that has covered all the questions that were in Instagram and Facebook prior to this session. We do have one reminder that Stuart wanted to make sure that all of you are aware. We need your bib number. So go into your runner portal on the Abbott World Marathon Majors website, go to the set for number 6 section, set for number 6 section, that's a tongue twister, and add your bib number to your Tokyo registration. Click save. And then that means that Judy and the team have that. And then we know exactly who we are expecting on race day. So add your bib number. You don't need to email, save her inbox. It's all automated now. So go onto the website, into your runner portal and do the set for number 6 section. I'm going to practice that. Okay, so that is all of the questions. Let's take a look at the chat now here and see what else we have missed. Sealed food and energy bars, we've talked about that. Toilets, we've covered. Do you need your phone? Yes, you need your phone to get into the start area. That is after bag drop, so please do carry it. The phone isn't only for the health app, it's also, Noel can talk to this too, but it's actually a safety measure. Noel, do you want to talk about that and why it is important for people to carry their phones?
Yep. I mean, it's very unlikely that there'll be a natural disaster in Tokyo during the course of your race. However, it's important that everybody is identifiable, you know, in these areas. And of course, Japan very recently had a horrendous natural disaster. So I think it's just bear with them on that one. Yeah, and it's very important that you have that.
Yeah, so please do it. Like we talked last time, there's a number of different ways to do it. Some of you like it on your arm, some of you like it on a belt around your middle. If some of you are running with backpacks, find something that works for you, but it is important that you carry that for your own safety as well as for race rules. I'm just going to come through some of the questions on the chat here, Noel, and then we're going to come to you to talk about shakeouts. Let's see. So Dave Hudson, we covered that question on the phone. What's the difference between a backpack and an empty hydration vest? You're just not allowed to bring the bladder in. So if you have a hydration backpack, Kayla, and you normally have a what we call a bladder inside that you fill with liquid, you're not allowed that part of it. You can use it as a backpack, but they're very strict. Again, it's a safety thing. It was brought in not long after the tragedies around Boston in 2013, that a lot of races do not allow you to carry those. So like I said, the rules are the rules. You're not allowed any bladders or handheld bottles and so on. You can bring in the cartons, but nothing else. So yes, Lisa, you can wear the backpack minus the bladder. That's exactly it. Michael Stratford, do gels count as part of the total liquid? No, they do not. Gels are separate. Liquid is water or electrolytes, something that's, you know, actual liquid. Gels are considered a food in that case. Jennifer Power, can you bring it like a sandwich to the start? I'm not sure if a sandwich counts as a gel or anything else. I don't think they would dispose of it, but it might be best to eat it before you enter. You wouldn't want it to go to waste and not have your fuel. Noel, what do you go to for fuel before a race? Do you have a sandwich, or do you go for oatmeal, or what's your choice?
Well, in Japan, I mean, you're spoiled for carbohydrates, aren't you? With ramen and noodles, and onigiri, rice balls, really easy to digest simple carbohydrates. That's something that you would, it fits into your hand, and you probably get that down within 30 minutes of running and not have any problems with your stomach. But again, don't try anything new. But yeah, and also, as Lorna said, the convenience stores in Japan, of which there's like 3 main ones: Lawson, Family Mart, and 7-Eleven. They do tend to sell these little aluminium packs of some of the brands are the Amino Vital is one, which and there are very similar ones which are specifically sort of vitamin based gels, but quite easy to get in and will keep you hydrated. So again, probably best to try one the day before you run just to make sure you're okay with it. But those little packets are available in the convenience stores.
Yeah, there really is a good selection, and it's kind of fun to try different things as long as you feel comfortable. Let me see. Manuela Hindler, if you throw your own empty gel pouch at a waste bin and it misses, is it a reason for being disqualified? No, but they do just ask that you try to throw trash, but it's certainly not something that would get you disqualified. But it is interesting. Ron shared on Friday that runners start to call each other out for it. So if someone does drop something, someone behind you might tell you to pick it up. People kind of get into the cultural way of, you'll see in the streets of Tokyo, there is no rubbish and waste. So, try to follow that rules. Try and carry it on your person until you can get close to a rubbish bin, or take it through to the end. Those things are light to carry, but please do not drop rubbish. If it happens accidentally, you will not be disqualified, but just be mindful of that. Yes, Jack Fernandez, you do need to run with your phone. We've talked about that. Let me see. Yes, you do need to show your health app before you enter the corral. Somebody was asking around some of the requirements before you enter Tokyo. So Noel, you've just been recently and you'll know about this. So health management app, everybody has to download that app on their phone. I've already done that as well. From the 26th of February, whether you're there or not, you need to start recording your temperature in that app. And then when you go to the expo, you will be given 2 COVID tests that you need to do on 2 consecutive days, so that you have that logged into your health management app. So when you show it on race day, they see that you have a negative result. Now, prior to that, you do have to complete some information on another website. Noel, did you do the Visit Japan web?
Yeah, it was really easy, and we were talking off air before we came on. Arrived in Haneda, basically showed the QR code to a lady. She gave us a piece of paper which said, "You've shown me the QR code," and some basic information about hand hygiene, etc., etc. And we just carried that through to immigration and customs, and didn't need it after. But it was really simple. It wasn't a hassle at all. I think from landing in Haneda to being outside with our luggage was like 45 minutes. So those stories you had of horrendous queues during the worst of COVID and Japan's effective extended lockdown, there was none of that. It was really easy getting in, to be honest. I was really surprised.
That's good to hear. So health management app, but also if you go to Visit Japan, we can put the link into the chat later, but it's www.vjw.digital.go.jp, and you fill in your information. I've already done it. You fill in your hotel, you fill in your contact details, you upload a certificate, your vaccine certificate if you have that. If not, you're required to show a test. It takes you through each step, and then they'll approve each section. So it is step by step. Make sure you do it. You put in your flight details. It's in English. So yeah, make sure you do that. I will get Dave to put the link into the chat later, but that's an important one to do ahead of time. So thank you to Debbie for talking about that in the chat here. Let's see what else we have. Thank you for all your questions. I know that everybody has a lot of things. Marianella, Lorna, will you be at the expo? Yes, I will be at the expo, and I would love to see as many of you as possible. So I'll be at our booth for collecting all the items you have purchased, and we'll also have a few other things to sell there. There'll be the coins. We'll have some lapel bins, which are exclusively just for 6-star finishers. So definitely come and stop by there, and you'll all go through, like I said, the booth where Judy and Stuart are. Would you talk about the app and the tracking? I've downloaded the app, but the QR, but the marathon is not listed. So from what I understand on that, and that question is from Never Stop Running on Facebook, is that the app is almost final and complete, and everybody will be notified about that too, if not prior to the expo, once you're at the expo. And you need that app for race day, so there's still enough time to do that once you are there. And it will have a tracking feature on it, so any of your friends and family that are going to watch you and support you can track you as you go around. Danamir is saying there is 4G and 5G coverage throughout Japan. You, of course, need to have the appropriate international roaming plan or purchase an eSIM. Yeah, that's great advice, Danamir. And as Noel and I have said previously, the Wi-Fi and the signal, I mean, you're in the trains, you're underground, you can get signal basically anywhere. Yeah. So no issues. Let's talk about some running based pieces just now, Noel, while I go through some more questions. We talked last time, but let's go back to shakeout runs, because everyone's going to get there. They're going to be a little bit nervous, angsty. They want to get some of that energy out their legs. They want to see how they're feeling. Tell us some of the best places to go and run in Tokyo.
So my personal favourites, I mean, the obvious one is the 5K loop of the Imperial Palace, which is accessible from pretty much everywhere in downtown Tokyo. That's really well signposted. It's really safe. You get to take in some sights like Tokyo Station, the Imperial Palace, obviously, although you can't access the inner sanctum. So that also, if you're staying near Shibuya, then Yoyogi Park. Again, it's a little greener. I think there's a 1.5K loop and a slightly longer loop there. Komazawa Park, which is the site of the old, the 1964 Olympic Stadium. That's another great place with a marked, I think, 1.5 or 2K loop. Further out, I mean, if you are there on Friday and you fancy doing a park run on Saturday morning, there are 3 park runs in Tokyo. Futako Tamagawa Park Run is about 30 minutes away from Shibuya, so right in the center of Tokyo. I think Park Run Japan is an 8 a.m. start rather than 9 a.m. You have to check that. But there's a really friendly community, and I was talking to one of the core team there earlier on today, and they'd love to see some of you there on Saturday morning. There are basically it's a great place to run. Just having a jog around downtown Tokyo, if Odaiba again, big site, that's another fantastic place to run. Taking in the atmosphere, particularly early in the morning before the crowds start building up. It's an amazing place to be.
You're really spoiled for choice, and it's such a different atmosphere running on the busy streets compared to when you go to race day, when it's crowds but the streets are silent with no traffic. So you're going to really get the contrast. And if you are a fan of park run, then it'd be what an amazing atmosphere to meet some of your fellow runners there. And I know that others in the group are organizing their own shakeouts, and some of them are sharing on the groups, so there's definitely a lot of chances for you to get together, chat, have a jog together, enjoy being in Tokyo. So I think we've got a few people that are joining a little bit late. I'm just going to recap on a couple of things, because I know that this is all important. You cannot bring a bladder, which means liquid filled into your hydration vest or backpacks. You can use that as a backpack to put your clothes and other things in, but they will be searching your bags, and you're not allowed to bring in any liquid. Okay, and you also can't bring in an empty bladder to then fill it up once you're in there. So I hope that clarifies. We'll send an email, I think, to everybody following this, just with some of the key items. Someone was asking about noon. You can definitely take those in, but I would advise you take an unopened packet just to avoid any issues. I mean, you just don't want to have any complications on the day. A couple of people are asking, can family hand you a water bottle on course? I haven't seen anything about that in the handbook that says no, but again, I don't think they're encouraging that people have their own liquid on the course. So there will be 15 aid stations with water and Pocari Sweat around there. Anything else that you guys plan, if you are looking to meet up with family and friends, we'll leave that to your discretion. Let's see, baggage drop off. Yeah, that baggage drop off, again, if you look at the handbook, I think that question from Delilah, it walks you through the process of where you enter, have your temperature checked, drop your bags, and so on. So if you want to refer to the handbook, that is absolutely mapped out in there. And a couple of people just asking around the clothing. There will now be clothing bins, which they have added since we spoke last time. They still would rather that that people carry them with them if at all possible, but there will be bins to place items, so don't worry about that. Does your bib have to be pinned on your shirt, or can I use it on the bib? As long as your bib is visible, that's the important part. So your bib's going to look something like this. Make sure it is visible, and it has to be on your front. So whether it's around your waist or on your chest, that's, you know, your preference. But it needs to be visible for obvious reasons. Okay. Let's have a look, see if there's any last questions. Yeah, and I do need to remind you, Dave's just sent me a message saying that anybody who's missed the start of it, or you want to tell any of your friends who may not be able to join, that this is going to be able to rewatch straight after. We're going to keep it on the Facebook page right up until race day. So if you want to look back at anything, if you want to take some notes and write down where Noel was recommending to go for a shakeout run, it's all available. And it will also be on YouTube as well. So on Facebook and YouTube, you can rewatch this, listen to my rambles over and over until you are thinking about hydration packs and knowing not to bring them in your sleep. So we are here to help you with as many questions as possible. And we will also share the link for the Visit Japan website to make sure that before you travel, you have all the necessary documentation completed. Let me see if there's anything else that I have missed. No, also I wanted to ask you just general. We've talked about travel. We've talked about, you know, Shakeout. What are some of the other things that people should definitely make an effort to do when they're in Tokyo if they've got a couple of days? Bear in mind they don't want to walk all day every day. What are your kind of highlights if you told somebody that they had, you know, 48 hours in that city?
Get up high and see Tokyo from above is one of the big ones for me. So if you obviously Tokyo's got two big towers, Tokyo Tower and Sky Tree. So if you can get reserve tickets in advance, so you avoid the queues, avoid standing and tiring your legs before the race. Just seeing Tokyo from above, it's on an entirely different scale, and particularly if you get an opportunity to go up high at night just to take in the view, that's something that I'd really recommend. Japanese culture wise, Meiji Jingu or Asakusa to see some traditional Japanese shrines. Asakusa can be really busy, but back streets around there are amazing. Similarly, where most of the main hotels are, Shinjuku has pretty much everything that you can imagine, you know, Japan is, you know, in terms of big neon signs, you know, really bright sort of shopping malls, little quaint izakaya Japanese inns. Another really nice area, Shibuya. That's a little bit more arty, but fantastic bars, restaurants. There's an area close to there called Omoide Yokocho, which is full of about 60 izakaya, which is a beautiful little street, really good for the Instagram shots. I think there is every little area has something. I mean, I've mentioned Yoyogi Park and Komazawa Park, and sometimes you want to get away from the hustle and bustle in Tokyo. Shinjuku Gyoen is another beautiful park, very close to the Olympic Stadium, and I think they've just restarted the tours of the Olympic Stadium. So you could, you know, there were no crowds there during the Olympic Games, so it would be a fantastic opportunity to get in there, get on the track, you know, start to feel the you know, positive energy before the race. There's some amazing things, but honestly, if you can't get up high, just to appreciate the vastness of this incredible, you know, urban metropolis, it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a huge fan, as you know, and yeah, going up the Tokyo Tower or the Sky Tree, you know, cycling around, taking all modes of transport that's available to you. It's a very tourist friendly city. I'm just looking at some more questions. Hiromi was agreeing with you, Noel, about how wonderful the Imperial Palace is to run. It's about a 5K, almost no traffic. So he's advocating for that. Ron Romano's doing a run there for anybody that wants to join on the Friday, either 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Are there bathrooms in the corrals? Edward's asking. I believe all the bathrooms are in the start area. If you please look at the athlete handbook, there are maps towards the last 3 pages, and it does show you the layout. There's a start area where there'll be water and there will be bathrooms. I don't believe once you're in a start corral of any of the majors that there's a bathroom. So just double check on the maps there. John Sparks, cash or credit card at the expo booth to purchase from us? Good question. We accept cards, so do come with a card and we can take payment there if you want to buy our coins or our pin badges. And I think that card is generally accepted everywhere in Tokyo. I certainly never carry cash. It's very card friendly. It's all so technologically advanced that everything like that works. Salman Khan, good to see you. I know Salman was one of our Chicago Expo panel members, so he is going for number 6 in Tokyo, having done Berlin, London, and Chicago in a row last year, like a few of you. So hopefully those few months have passed and everybody's recovered and they're ready to go again this year. Judith's asking how easy it is to meet up with partners at the end. Judith, there are designated areas, and I think if you have a plan with your family ahead of time, you will know which direction you are going. So when you cross the finish line, based on the color of your bib, so we talked about this is a blue one, there'll be different colors. You will either head to the right or to the left. We have 2 6-star finisher tents, so don't worry, whichever direction you go, you will see one of our tents. It will be surrounded by volunteers carrying big lollipop sticks. This is all within the race compound, so your family and friends won't be there at that point, but you'll then follow the directions, and there's a number of exit points that will take you back to your baggage location. From there, you'll be able to be reunited with your family and friends. So please do look at the handbook and the maps to show you which way you'll be exiting, because it is a very large area and you don't want your family to be on one side and you're actually on the other side. That could be a little bit challenging. So I hope that helps, Judith. Just plan ahead. Delilah saying, if it rains during the race, can the bib be under my clear poncho? I don't see why not, as long as it's visible. And then we have a question here about bringing in your own aerosols or topical pain relief. I don't have the answer to that, Danimir. I think that would be one to contact Tokyo Marathon directly about. I don't know about the rules on that unless I've missed it in the handbook. Didn't want to ignore that question, but I don't have an answer for you on that. Perhaps someone who's been before can maybe advise whether you can bring in a spray or a gel to the race. Kayla's asking, will there be any special events in the city just for us runners? I know that Tokyo Marathon have a few events on. They're doing a virtual friendship run that has already sold out because they had some cultural activities additional to that. But I do also know that on our 6-star Facebook group, some runners have organized some parties. I think there was tickets being sold for a Hard Rock Cafe party. Ron's doing an event. There's a few other things. We, as the World Marathon Majors, are not doing any additional events other than managing the expo and the race day. So we've got our hands full with that. But I do believe that some other runners and tour operators and so on are organizing events. So I'm sure there'll be lots of opportunities to socialize and get together. Let's touch again on toilets. And Newman, will there be bathrooms on the course? Yes, there will be portaloos. Most of them are on the course. Some of them are just off to the side, but they're certainly throughout the course there. What else? Yeah, people are panicking about hydration. I think if, all we can do is share the information. There are going to be aid stations. There's 15 of them on the course. There's water and Pocari Sweat. Use those, practice with them in the days leading up. You can buy Pocari Sweat at any of your convenience stores. You can also carry your own salt tablets and your hydrations and your gels. So, get familiar, do what works for you. Noel, any other advice to kind of allay people's anxieties around things being a little bit different?
Can I put my athlete hat on now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I can say, if you're hydrating consistently in the 3 days leading up to the marathon, there is virtually no chance that you're going to have any problems with hydration. And if you are able to take a little pouch or a sort of liquid based gel, sorry, I'm not aware of all the gels around the world, but in the UK we have SIS, and they do,
Morton, all those things.
Morton can be, but yeah, anything that's sort of, easily swallowed, you're not going to. I think before we came on, someone said that the last point at which you can enter the start corrals at 15 minutes before race time. So, you can keep hydrating up until then. As I said, it's more important to hydrate as with taking on carbohydrate the 3 days before the race, at the time that you start that, and you won't have any problems during the race. With 15 stations, it's very, very unlikely, whatever your goal time is, that you're going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Just going to ask, there's a lot of people asking about the 2020 medals. I'm afraid I have failed on that one. I have not, I don't have an answer for you, but I do know that everybody who was a regular runner and was deferred, there's obviously a certain category of you that are entitled to receive a 2020 medal, as you didn't get to take part in that event. I am not sure if it's going to be given out to you in your packet pickup at the expo or if it's at the finish line. I will go away and ask the Tokyo Marathon team about that. And when we email you later this week with some reminders on all this important information, we'll be sure to add that in. So leave that with us and we will ask on your behalf all of you that have inquired about the 2020 medals. A couple more questions before we round things off. Yariv saying, how do we warm ourselves at the end without warm clothes? Well, you've got two options. You're going to get a heat sheet when you finish, which is quite common at most races. And then obviously you'll go and get your baggage from the truck so you can put any clothes in your baggage that you hand over. And if you choose to run with a backpack, as they do suggest, then you can also carry any clothing that you want that way, or hat, gloves, other items. So you just, prep as you would for any other race with your clothing, and you should be set. Let me see. We had I'm going to end with this question, and then I'm going to come to you for some Japanese language notes. And this is a great question. It just says Facebook user, so I don't know who it came from, but it says, and I think we should both answer this. What do you wish that you'd known about the marathon or visit? You can do the visiting Tokyo piece as well. That you wished you'd known before the first time you went there. Something about Tokyo or being in Tokyo that you wished you'd known.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that a good question?
Because, it's a really great question, but I think the whole point is just that everything is so fresh and new. So I'm kind of glad I didn't know anything, and everything was a surprise, and everything was as an amazing surprise. So I didn't have any problems culturally. Everything was fantastic. The transport's reliable, clean, it's safe. The food is incredible. There really is. Yeah, I'm glad it all came as one big amazing surprise. Sorry if that's not that helpful.
I think it's probably not something that I wish I'd known because I didn't find any of it challenging. I think I was just so impressed and was naive to how efficient it is as a country. Everything works, everything is on time, everything is very punctual, clean, orderly. So I think that was like a really pleasant surprise and not something that I had really grasped before going.
Tell you what might be interesting this time, because we went to Japan for Christmas and New Year, and we hadn't been back for 3.5 years, and I'd kind of built up this image based on some media reports that kind of risk averse, still sort of very sort of COVID aware, society was going to somewhat change my experience for the worse, and it didn't at all. I think wearing masks, etc., it's a small inconvenience, and it really didn't affect my enjoyment of being in Tokyo or in southern Japan at all. So I think it's important to understand from Japanese cultural perspective that rules make things, rules are in place to make things easy, and actually if you just go with the flow, you'll have an amazing time.
Yeah, I agree. Graham Forrest seems to know about the medal, so thank you, Graham, because I didn't. He said you can get your 2020 medal at the expo, so I hope that is helpful. Emails, Kim will say, if you are with an Abbott World Marathon Majors profile and it's up to date and we know that you're one of our 6-star finishers, we will be sending an email to all of you later this week just with a reminder of some of the key information that we've talked about today. We'll reiterate the information about the 2020 medals once we get clarification, although Graham, I think, has given us the answer. Any other details? We also did send you an email out earlier this week talking through the process for 6-star finishers. So we're doing our best to give you as much information as possible. Do take time to read the handbook. Additionally, get on the chat group. There's lots of knowledgeable people in that group who have been to Tokyo before, even if they haven't run the marathon, and everybody's very good at sharing tips. And once you're there, people are extremely helpful. There's lots of great staff at the expo. We'll be all at the expo, so come and see us, come and ask us any questions if you have any further concerns, and we will really do our best to make this a memorable event and a wonderful event for all of you. So we're going to wrap things up just with a couple of Japanese words and takeaways from Noel, because he is a wonderful linguist when it comes to Japanese. So let's just revisit some of the words we did last time, Noel, and then you can maybe give us some sort of fun phrase. So hello.
I know. Well, good morning is Ohio, as in the state of Ohio in the US, or Ohio. Greetings super important in Japan, like Ohio in the morning, or konnichiwa with a nice big smile goes down absolutely amazingly in Japan. So Ohio for good morning, or konnichiwa for later in the day.
And then if you're saying goodbye or see you later, what's the correct way to do that?
So these are my favorite ones. Sayonara is a little bit final, so you might say that to someone you know at the airport you're not going to see for a few years. But most Japanese people will just say matane with a little wave, or the kids will just say bye bye. So matane as in film matinee, or just bye bye with a smile. Remember to smile. Everywhere in Japan, it will come back to you tenfold in terms of hospitality and warmth.
And thank you, which some people are already putting in the chat there, is
arigato. Arigato gozaimasu. And the gozaimasu just makes it a little bit more polite, but arigato.
And one final phrase, something you think would be very useful for people to know?
Two that I thought of. One is the one Japanese super word, genki. So genki basically just means full of fun, happiness, lively. It's that kind of, when you're on top form and you wake up and sun's shining, the birds are singing, and you feel amazing. So genki. Genki is a great word. Genki desu. I feel amazing. And the other one is ganbatte. So ganbatte. Ganbatte kudasai. Go for it. Have a great run.
Oh, well, that's important. So everybody, ganbatte for a week on Sunday. Arigato for joining us. Arigato, Noel. You have been wonderful. I really think you've provided a lot of useful information to people who are going to Japan and Tokyo for the first time. We're very grateful for your time and your input. Thank you to everybody who's joined us today. If you didn't manage to catch the full session or you're joining this recorded, it is recorded. So it's going to be on our Facebook group and it's also going to be on YouTube. So please pass it on to anybody who may have missed it, or you can revisit pieces if you need some clarification. There's still some questions coming in. We did cover clothing. We did cover hydration. We tried to cover all the main points that we could, and we will send a follow-up email to all our 6-star hopefuls later this week, just with some recap of some important points that some of you are feeling a little concerned about. But we hope that you're feeling a little less anxious. We hope that you're getting excited. This time next week, we will all be, or almost all of us will be in Tokyo. We arrive midweek. We'll be at the expo, there to support you, there to welcome you, there to answer any of your additional questions. This is going to be a moment to remember. You are almost finished your 6-star journey. Some of you have taken a long time to get this point. We've all had challenges. You've all overcome a lot to get here. So remember why you're doing it. Remember that you've chosen to do it. This is a privilege. It's very exciting. Tokyo and Japan are wonderful places to be, and you're going to have the best experience possible. So safe travels. Thank you to everyone for joining us, and we will see you in Tokyo next week. As they say in Tokyo, ganbatte.
Ganbatte. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.